Hello again, everybody. Second Tech is here with a very special video starting a series of videos for the next 5 days with Wrestlemania 28 right around the corner. I'm going to share with you some of my Wrestlemania memories. I'm going to do an increment of 6 for the first 4 days. And then I'll go through the last 3 Wrestlemanias on Sunday, the day of Wrestlemania. So like I said, there's a very special series of videos I'm doing. I'm going to go through the first 6 today, going through each WrestleMania, giving you my favorite memories. I'm not going through every match of each Pacific WrestleMania, but just telling you what I remember from watching them as a kid or as an adult. So I'll go through them today. WrestleMania 1 through 6. Tomorrow I'll do WrestleMania 7 to 12 tomorrow. Then I'll do WrestleMania 13 to 18 on Friday. On Saturday, I'll do WrestleMania 19 to 24. And like I mentioned, I'll do WrestleMania 25 to 27 on Sunday, the day of WrestleMania. So, this is part 1 my WrestleMania Memories video series. Starting with where it all began. WrestleMania 1. It was, of course, March 31st, 1985. Madison Square Garden. First WrestleMania taking place. Now, I've seen this video. I used to rent this video when I was a kid. And the only matches I can remember from the top of my head, I don't remember any of the other matches, like small matches, like the first match, like Tito Santana and Executioner. I do remember King Kong Bundy and his 24-second squash against Special SD Jones, being the fastest, probably, I think, the record for the fastest Mania match. That maybe time for WrestleMania 6, which I'll get to in a moment or two. The biggest moments I remember specifically, I do remember the tag match, but of course the 3 moments that wake in my head. Under the Giant, slamming Big John Studs for that money, that $50,000. Of course, $15,000. That's like a Pacific great moment I remember from that Mania. And Wendy Rector, first women's match in Mania. First one until WrestleMania 10. Wendy, well, like one-on-one women's match. Because we had like women wrestle. It must be a 6, but it wasn't women on women. Singles. First singles women's match at Mania until WrestleMania 10 for the WWE Women's title. Wendy Rector taking on Leilani Kai. Of course, Cyndi Lauper getting involved as a decent women's match. Of course, Wendy Rector won that title that night. And of course, the main event I remember the most. Hulk Hogan, Mr. T against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper. Jimmy Snuka in the corner of Hogan and Mr. T. And Mr. Cowboy Bob Orton, the corner of Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful. Now, like, when WrestleMania was in its infancy, they depended on celebrities because, you know, WrestleMania wasn't like the huge conglomerate. It wouldn't get really huge until WrestleMania 3, which I'll get to in a moment on this special video series. So they had to rely on celebrities until the wrestlers themselves became as big as celebrities. So, in this match is it was weird to not have a title match, a WWE title match as the main event for this WrestleMania that would take place in WrestleMania 2. But this match was an okay match for what it was. You know, being a celebrity getting involved, Muhammad Ali's special guest, ring enforcer, less celebrities were there, like Liberace was there, Billy Morton for the New York Yankees. But this match was a decent matchup. Started off feud with Mr. T and Piper, which was coming in WrestleMania 2. Of course, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T won that match. And he got a little rowdy with all the people getting involved, with Bob Orton getting involved, and Jimmy Snuka getting involved as well in the match. So there we go, decent main event match. And as the first WrestleMania, it was a decent Mania for being the first one ever, for what I can remember. So there you go. Thoughts, memories of WrestleMania 1. On with WrestleMania 2. I have this on VHS, as you can tell. Moments I remember was the WWE title match. Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy in a steel cage, Los Angeles. The first WWE title match at a WrestleMania. This match was, of course, in a steel cage. Decent matchup for a steel cage match at WrestleMania. Probably the only steel cage match at WrestleMania. They had Hell in a Cell, but not a regular steel cage match. It was the only steel cage match I can remember at a WrestleMania. Yeah, they had like 2 Hell in a Cells, but not another steel cage, but this match was, give you a sign what Hogan and Andre would be like at WrestleMania 3. It was a decent matchup, okay, steel cage. I think Hogan did kind of slam Bundy, give him a leg drop, of course, avalanche on the whips of Hogan. It's a decent matchup for what it was, and of course Hogan won the match. Also, maybe remember that Battle Royal at Chicago with all the NFL guys and the WWE guys, of course, under the Giant winning that Battle Royal, being in the final 3 with the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jimmy Neidhart, of course, a lot of football guys in there, including WWE Hall of Famer for being in that match, William Refrigerator Perry from one of my favorite teams, the Bears. I guess I'm from Detroit. I'm starting to be a Lions fan because I was starting to win a lot, so but I'm still a Bears fan. Also, want to remember Mr. T, Roddy Piper from last WrestleMania. They had settled their feud in a boxing match. Now, boxing and WWE is an odd mix. Just ask Brawl for Wolves. So, this match was a decent matchup. It was, of course, Roddy Piper getting himself disqualified after slamming Mr. T. Boxing match and wrestling was deep. Was weird. It's like a sumo match, which I'll get to when I get to WrestleMania 21. So it's a decent, and also remember, Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage defending his title against George the Animal Steel IC title. It was okay match. Of course, the next IC title match will be a lot better. At WrestleMania 3, I'll get to in a few moments here. I do kind of remember the tag match. British Bulldogs being attacking champions, defeating the Dream Team, British Beefcake, and Great Name of Valentine. Ozzy Osbourne was in the corner. A lot of celebrities there. WrestleMania 2 as well, with Iviva being there. Still depending on celebrity at the time, but after the next WrestleMania, the wrestlers would be considered the celebrities. So the decent WrestleMania 2. Now on to probably one of the biggest WrestleManias ever. Now I was born in '88, so I wasn't born yet. But my mom and dad, they went to this WrestleMania. There were 2 of 93,000 at WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome. Now, I have it on DVD here, but I have it on VHS. I couldn't find it, so it's somewhere. Of course, memory, before we get to that, big memory of Hogan and Andre. There was an okay WrestleMania from what I can remember. There was an okay tag match opening up with K&M Connection, teaming up against Bob Orton, and Magnificent Morocco was Tom Zink, would become Z-Man, WCW, teaming up with Rick Martel. They were okay tag team, which they had a better opportunity, but Zink left, and Rick went on to form Strike Force with Tito Santana, who was in a 6-man tag at this Mania with the British Bulldogs against the Hart Foundation with Dangerous David Davis, that wrestling referee. That was a decent 6-man tag. Some okay matches in there. The matches I remember the most: Roddy Piper and Adrian Adonis in their match, the head shaving match, or as we like to call it, Piper's retirement match. He wasn't retired for long. Decent match up there. But of course, the match that everyone remembers, including myself, probably even in my mind, and everyone would agree with me, one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time: Ricky the Dragon Steamboat against Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. Wrestling Clinic. Must see. If you're a wrestling fan, if you haven't seen this match, this is a must-see match. This is a classic wrestling match. And unlike today, there was a little interference, but unlike today, the interference didn't take away from the match, because George still got involved, but it didn't take away from being a tremendous wrestling match, a great one, classic match, Ricky Steamboat winning, becoming the Intercontinental Champion that night. But of course, the other match that everyone remembers the most besides that is, of course, Hulk Hogan and Andre for the WWE title. As a moment, Hogan and Andre, that moment of when Hogan did slam Andre the Giant, which is a huge moment. Because I don't think anyone had seen Hogan slam Andre, or anyone slam Andre before on camera in a big event like that. But the match itself, it was kind of like a King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan, kind of a sloppy, okay match. The match was nothing memorable. The match was just okay, especially that quick, almost recap from Andre being another memorable moment for that match besides the slam. But that the slam hood round the world, as they call it, that moment was just huge for that time. Making WrestleMania the place to be. You know, making WrestleMania the global phenomenon as it is today. WrestleMania 3 kind of kickstarted it big time. So it was a decent Mania for what it was. Some okay matches as well, besides that. with the little midget people, with Hillbilly Jim, with the little people against King Kong Bundy. It was a silly match. I have met Hillbilly Jim twice. Just a little known fact. So that's that for WrestleMania 3. Now on to WrestleMania 4. First of two WrestleManias at the Trump Plaza. I have it on VHS here. Yes, the pop-up with Hulk Hogan. It works. Yeah, I taped it. It whipped, but I got it, so there you go. The pop-up works. It's weird to see one with the pop-up of Hulk Hogan works. Mostly them from video rental stores, they cut it in half. So you don't get that. Of course, the big thing from WrestleMania 4 is the 16-man tournament to determine the new WWE champion after Hulk Hogan and Andre had a little thing at the main event that year. We all know who won that tournament. Macho Man, Randy Savage. The final match between him and DiBiase was a decent matchup in that tournament. Also, his match against Greg the Hammer. There were some silly things in that tournament. A lot of buys. Of course, Hulk and Andre getting involved, getting double disqualified. Getting them out and making DiBiase go straight to the finals. And Hogan and Andre was a little okay, especially with the little chair thing, double disqualification. There was also Rick Rude and Jake Roberts going to a draw. Then there was a decent matchup starting their feud they would have throughout the year. And other matches besides the tournament matches, with Robert Reach getting involved, and Vanna White and Bob Uecker there for the second year in a row. He was at WrestleMania 3 as well. We had a Battle Warrior kicking it off with a lot of people who went to the Killer Bees. I remember Hart Foundation were in it. That was like the last two, Bret Hart and Bad News Brown, who eventually won it. Hillbilly Jim was in it. There was Rougeos was in it. A lot of other people were in that Battle Royal. So it was okay Battle Royal matchup. We also had Ultra Royal, a little bit of weird match, a little bit of squash match against Hercules. Okay, matchup there. We also had an IC title match, Brutus Beefcake taking on Honky Tonk Man for the title. Ending up being like a no contest, a little silly matchup there with the referee getting knocked out and everything. We also had the tag team titles. Demolition taking on Strike Force. It was a decent tag match with Demolition winning. And a little note, Demolition takes place in 3 straight title matches at WrestleMania from WrestleMania 4 to 6. WrestleMania 4 as the challengers, 5 as the champions, and 6 as the challengers. I'll talk about how they did in those matches in a few moments here. But Demolition won the first tag team titles that night at WrestleMania 4. Also, that's my thoughts. It was okay Mania. The tournament, it was most matches, like 16 matches, especially with the tournament going on. So it was okay Mania for what it was with the tournament crowning a new champion, Macho Man. On to WrestleMania 5, the second WrestleMania at Trump Plaza. Macho Man was still the champion by that time, but at that time he and Hogan broke up. It was, of course, the tagline, the Mega Powers explode, as Macho Man defended the WWE Championship against Hulk Hogan. Okay, matchup, Elizabeth being the neutral corner. It was a decent matchup. I haven't seen the whole thing in its entirety, but I've seen bits and pieces of the match. It was a decent matchup for what it was. Of course, Hulk Hogan winning the title that night. Good matchup, decent matchup there. We also had Rick Rude taking on the Ultimate Warrior, IC title. Of course, Rick Rude won that night. Decent match as well. We also had Rick Martel turning heel, eventually becoming the model, when he turned on Tito Santana against the Brain Busters. There's a decent tag match. I've always, just a little tidbit here. I love Brain Busters. Tony Blanchard, a great tag team. Little tidbit. My favorite matches of the Brain Busters, just going off topic here, my favorite match of the Brain Busters was a tag team match against the Hart Foundation at SummerSlam 89, that same year as WrestleMania 5. Great tag match. If you haven't seen it, watch it. SummerSlam 89. Brain Busters, Hart Foundation. Little tidbit there. Now back to topic, WrestleMania. Another moment for WrestleMania 5, everyone remembers Roddy Piper returning for the Piper's Pit with a special guest, Brother Love and Mo Downey Jr. Because everyone remembers that fire extinguisher incident when Mo Downey Jr. kept blowing smoke in Roddy's face and he blew smoke back with the fire extinguisher. So there you go, that's another moment there when the MC performed. First musical performance besides the anthem. Anyway, it was okay Mania. You know, decent, there's some okay matches in this one. Decent things. Decent moments from this one. So that's my thoughts on WrestleMania 5. Now, the last WrestleMania I'm reviewing for this part 1 of my WrestleMania Memories series of videos. WrestleMania 6, Skydome in Toronto. I went to WrestleMania 18 at Skydome. I'll review that when I get to it. WrestleMania 6 probably one of my favorites, because I used to win it a lot. Of course, the Ultimate Challenge, Hulk Hogan, Ultra Royal. First and probably only time that title for title main event. And it was 2 baby faces. It is probably one of my favorite Hogan matches in WrestleMania, besides his match against The Rock in WrestleMania 18, which I'll get to when I get to that in another video. But this match was a very long match, about 20 minutes. It's a decent matchup for 2 guys who had limited skill. You know, they had like a couple good moves, but a decent matchup for what it was. Of course, Ultra Royal winning the match, becoming the WWE Champion that night. He had to relinquish the IC Championship. Mr. Perfect would eventually win it in the tournament. It was a decent match for what it was. It was historic for being 2 baby faces and being in Toronto. First international WrestleMania. So it was a decent match there. There's a decent matchup there. Like I said, okay matchup there. We also had a first mixed tag match at WrestleMania. First women's match, non-singles since WrestleMania 1. With Sensational Sherry taking on Macho King Randy Savage against Sapphire and Dusty Rhodes with Elizabeth in the corners. A decent match for being a mixed tag. This is when the men could wrestle the women at the time. You know, now women has to wrestle women, men against the men. It was a decent match for what it was. Also, Demolition, I mentioned, WrestleMania 4, there were challenges against Flight Force. I didn't mention there was WrestleMania 5, defending the titles against Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji in a 3-on-2 match, decent matchup. In WrestleMania 6, there were the challengers winning all 3 times. This time defeating the Colossal Connection. Under the Giant coup is when Bobby Heenan slapped Andre and Andre turned face. It was one of Andre's last matches after they just went on to be like a manager role, accompanying people to the ring for 7 matches. Until finally leaving. Also had Ted DiBiase against Jake St. Roberts and their count-out match for the Million Dollar title. It was a decent matchup there. Their feud was huge at the time, big feud. And so there you go, that's my thoughts on WrestleMania 6. And that is it for part 1 of my WrestleMania video series, reviewing WrestleManias 1 to 6. These only manias were decent manias, you know, like WrestleMania 3 with the great matches with Steamboat and Macho Man being most memorable. So, like I said, it's the start of the series, and tomorrow I'll review, or at least go through my memories of watching WrestleMania 7 through 12. See you all later. With that in mind, I've been attacked by a special video from Zach. Thank you all very much. See you all later. See you tomorrow for part 2 of my WrestleMania memories. See you all later. Yeah.